together that 4th of July day. That's when the land you're standing on became the U.S. of A. United we will stand, but divided we fall. One nation under God says it all.
That's right.
Men are created equal, words written in by hand. They all stand to fight when a cry for freedom rings. Freedom isn't free, it comes with a cost. One nation under God says it all. One nation under God says it all. This whole world's changing, it's changing every day. For the land of the free and the home of the brave. Stand up everybody, stand proud and tall. One nation under God.
Good evening and welcome to IITW Radio. I am Travis and you're here tonight. We have our political thing every Tuesday night. It is 2/19 of 19. Tonight, as always on Tuesday night, I have my co-host Greg Williams, Mr. Sitting Bull. How you doing, Sitting Bull?
You?
I got my
Good
walking stick.
I brought my Indian walking stick too because I'm identifying as an Indian tonight. And I heard Elizabeth Warren was going to be on the show, and I want to let her know that, yeah, I'm more of an Indian than she is.
Everybody around. Everybody in the United States is more of an Indian than Miss Elizabeth
I don't know
Warren.
who's stupid, or Harvard University or most Democratic voters. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
I still want to know if Harvard's going to do anything to. Good evening, Jolie. She says, "Good evening, Greg."
Good evening. Good evening. Peace be with you.
So, how you been? How was your week?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You know, it's a crazy world out there. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of terrible things that go on, but there's a lot of good people, and you know, you just gotta keep on keeping on and do the best you can and make the world a better place. And try to live by the golden rule. If more people treated other people the way they want to be treated, we'd have a better world.
Oh, no doubt. So, have you been keeping up with the news lately?
Yeah, a little bit. I know that Rothenstein guy is apparently he's trying to have a coup, trying to have some sort of soft coup. And the liberal media people, they say, oh, what a great idea. That's how stupid the libs are. You know, they don't know what treason is. But to me, treason is if, like, the former president got together with a bunch of people in his cabinet and devised a plan to take down Trump or have a insurance policy and it was all wink, wink. I think that's treason.
Yeah. On the other side, flip it over the old corner.
Yeah, I know. And you know, the other thing is, gee, you know, this judge going after Roger Stone, you know, it is what it is. Oh, she's saying whatever. She obviously doesn't care about the fact that we don't have equal justice in this country. Apparently, it's if you're a Democrat, you get one standard, and if you're a Republican, you get another standard. It's just nauseating to me and many people, and how Hillary and all of her clan and they all get away with everything, and that, you know, and we got a legislature here, Corrine Brown. They didn't investigate her but 6 or 8 months, and they found God knows what. Heck, and that's a penny nickel dime foundation compared to the pay to play for the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One, which Mueller was involved in. And why does everybody think Mueller's so brilliant? This guy's a disaster. What is it in our federal government? The worse you are as a public servant, the more they promote you. I mean, Mueller goes all the way back to Whitey Bulger and all the stupidity in Massachusetts. I mean, and yet they act like he's some great guy. Then he brings in a bunch of thugs to run this take down the president thing. that Rosenstein created. The whole thing stinks to high heaven, and I don't know why Rosenstein is still sitting there unless he's just trying to burn all the records and all the files of all the misdeeds they've done. It just blows me away. The Department of Justice sold out our president.
Yep. Our one of my favorite airline stewardesses on here tonight, Kathy. She's all the way up out of, well, I'm not sure if she's in North Carolina. And then Skidmore says hi. Skidmore is one of our regulars now. Yeah. So the whole damn thing is, before we get on that, did you see it? Remember, do you know Jesse Smollett? He's the one that says he was
dumb. When I first heard that story, I'm thinking that don't even sound right. But again, the people that promote this stuff are the same people that promoted Kavanaugh was a horrible person. You know, they promote all of this anti-Trump stuff, all the anti-Make America Great thing. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's one thing that really irritates me. I'm going to go out and buy some America Great hats just so I can have one because you know what? They're great things. It's a great message, and there's nothing wrong with having a great country and making it great again. I mean, it is better than what he inherited. I mean, Obama left the country divided. He was the opposite of everything he ran on, and the media did nothing but cover up for that guy. And he corrupted our entire Justice Department, corrupted our Treasury Department. I mean, this guy was nothing but corrupt, and then they act like he never did anything. Give me a break, because we all had a blind eye because the media covered up everything with the biggest double standard America's ever seen. CNN, they may as well call themselves Pravda. I mean, they are working to undermine our country. They're unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go back, a lot of people have forgotten a lot of the things. You have Cash for Clunkers, which most people have completely forgot about. It was, what, $30 million, where it just trashed the industry for people getting used auto parts. And then you have, you know, the whole Benghazi thing, where they called up and he sat on his finger up his ass the whole time so that 6 of our Americans got slaughtered. I mean, they drove... what's his name?
Uranium One happened under Obama. Okay,
yeah, Uranium One, 25%.
25. They all somehow make money on selling our country out.
Yeah.
Our country has lost more military industrial secrets under Democratic presidents. When Clinton was in the White House, they had the Chinese down there at Area 51, way more than they should. You know, I mean, you know, some people think Clinton sold them the stealth technology. I don't know, but I do know that what happened in Haiti, Clinton was involved in, and they stole billions down there, and nobody seems to care. You know, and somehow Bush, you know, is involved with Clinton down in Haiti, and yet Haiti's still a mess. All the money, we could have rebuilt Haiti 3 times. It is unbelievable, the terrible, terrible corruption of our foreign aid down there, as well as maybe their own government. But, you know, it's a shame because the Haitian people deserve better. Were you the one that told me that someone told Haiti years ago, maybe it was the French or something, when they got their independence or something, they cut down all the trees in Haiti?
Yep, they did, and they sold them to Europe.
All your trees down. That's stupid.
They sold all their Haitian lumber over to Europe. And the United States was involved in that mess. And then they had mudslide after mudslide. And then they took all the money, all the elected officials down in Haiti, took all the money, spent it on themselves, just like what's happened in Venezuela right now. You know, they took all the money and they spent it. And then they screw their public. You know,
well, that's your socialist, corrupt socialist regime. You know, that's where socialism, they always act like it's nice. We're going to, you can see it right now in the Democratic Party. They're trying to out free gift you. You know, Warren's come out with, oh, we're going to do this free job. We're going to do this, that, and the other. Everything's free, free, free. You know what? If it's all free, that means we're all paying for it because nothing's free. But apparently the Democrats, they want to go ahead and give everybody free stuff. Okay, but they really want to give the illegals more free stuff.
Yeah, and that pisses.
You know, it's ridiculous.
That
They're
pisses.
all about giving illegals free stuff, and making the whole country dependent on free stuff. But then you got a bunch of lazy people sitting around waiting for something free. Unlike what John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Well, that's not part of the Democratic Party anymore. They're all about giving a ranch away. They're all like the leaders of Haiti who sold all the damn lumber, all the wood for lumber. There's a corruption inside the Democratic Party that's bad for the country, and we need to do something about it.
Oh, yeah, you can't go sell all your natural resources out and then expect your country not to wind up in mudslides where, people are getting buried under mud. And then the same that's going on right now in Venezuela. 9 people out of 10, 90% of the population in Venezuela doesn't even have toilet paper now. And I like what Trump said about going, the military better straighten up real quick. Because if they don't turn over to democracy.
He put them on notice. And, and this is in our hemisphere. And, it's about time someone stood up for the country. Someone stood up for what's right. Thank God for Trump. He saved the Republican Party from certain defeat. I'll tell you, the Republicans are their own worst enemies. The further they get away from Trump, the worse they are. These Billy Crystal Republicans, George Will, give me a break. Man, you've all fallen off the turnip truck. Or, they all remind me of David Gergen. And what a joke David Gergen is. Go hang out there in the cove, buddy, with all your naked friends running around like Richard Nixon used to talk about, a bunch of crazies over there that want to run the world. David Gergen, he's a joke. The CNN people are jokes. They do a big disservice to the country. The media has just dropped the ball, and how they have twisted right and wrong, and how they try to make high school kids look like the bad guy when it's really some old liberal Marxist confronting the kids, being the aggressor, looking for a news thing. It's just like the Smollett story. The media runs hook, line, and sinker with that because that's what they are. They're not journalists anymore. They're partisan hacks. CNN is the fake news network. It's unbelievable. Anything political, you can pretty much know the opposite is true. Trump's been rising in the polls consistently the last 2 or 3 weeks. You'd never know it from CNN. And these partisan hacks, even Fox has some of these partisan hacks on one of their shows. Fox will give a lot of these liberals plenty of room to run and won't even question them. So it makes me wonder. I'm glad we still have some, good news sources out there. Because frankly, I think Fox is getting a little soft. The idea that that we want to be more civil and then do all these stupid Democratic proposals is insanity. The climate change argument, everybody's for climate change. No, we know climate change is weather. Weather changes. There is climate change. Yeah, and we want to be good stewards, but we don't want to shut down the greatest economy in the world for 1/3 of 1 degree in 25 years, and all your fake science that you've politicized. The irony is there's 16 or 18 models for global warming, and the most accurate one, the most least politicized one with the best science, oddly enough, is the Russian one. Go figure. But and make a long story short, we've ruined our science in this country. We live in the dark ages, and science has been politicized, and it has been used for political purposes. So we got to do a better job on that. But, that's my rant today.
My niece just joined in. Hello, Selena. She's asking me because she's saying, I guess the camera looks backwards. She's like, is that a wedding band on your hand? No, it isn't, Selena. One of my friends had given me this ring a few years ago, and it is not on the left hand. This hand still remains blank. Will remain blank. Okay. Hello, Jennifer. Anyways, this whole thing was small. You were talking about, Jesse, this actor, I guess, whatever. I've never watched the guy act. I don't care about any of that crap.
That's another thing, too. None of the magnet people watch this stupid show. Most conservatives aren't into stupid, liberal, ridiculous sitcoms and ridiculous. I could to this day I couldn't tell you what the guy did. What kind of show he's on. I heard he's a singer or something, but apparently he's all about him. He goes around making stuff up, and he views himself as someone that should make something up to hurt his perceived enemy, because he's bought into all the hate that CNN's created. You know, because CNN is nothing but the hate Trump network.
Well, I love how all these news stations jumped on it right away. Oh, it's a black guy. It was a hate crime. You know, it was two white guys. They hung him up with a noose. You know, they couldn't tell because they had masks. You know, and then he writes all these fake letters today that they were showing, and it turns out it was his two black cousins. So it was nothing about hate crime at all, but they made it about hate crime and saying, you know, oh, it was a racist thing. Now I hate, and it pisses me off how they flip the thing to make it a race issue to divide the country. They're doing that. If they would just quit.
The old Obama technique. This is Saul Lewinsky. You know, the Democrats, I mean, Obama taught them, and Hillary too, are all about Saul Lewinsky, whatever the crook's name was. So in any event, it's all about misleading the country, dividing and conquering, identity politics, and once in a while it bites the Dems in their butt. But, you know, they're hypocrites over there. Apparently you can still do about anything. I don't know why people still vote for the Democratic Party. I honestly don't. I think black people have been misled for at least 2 generations. And I'm happy that I think there's more of a conservative movement amongst black America now. Hopefully we can get 10 or 20%, you know, and then change the tide of history. You know, what the Democrats propose is socialism. Ultimately, it's big government, more control, less freedom.
Angie and D.
Weak America, leading from behind. I don't ever want to be in that state again.
Angie and D say hello.
Hey, Angie and D.
You know, the whole thing stinks to high hell and back. But some of the Republicans are pissing me off too, you know, because they've had time to change Obamacare and put in a good health care system. They've had time to change and get the border wall done.
They didn't have the votes in the Senate. You got to have 60 votes to do most of this stuff, unless they get smart and Machiavellian like the Democrats. If you want to make change now, then you got to do some sort of some sort of tie it into the budget bill where you only need 51 votes. That's the only way we ever get anything done.
Well, they had a chance to do it. You know, when they were in control of the House and the Senate, they had a chance to do it, but they sat on their asses.
But they didn't have the 2/3 vote. They didn't have the 60 votes in the Senate, and you had Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan was the biggest deal. Hello, Susan. Susan just joined in,
and he heard us.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they had a chance to do it, so I can't say it's all the left, but from what I see out of the left right now, is that it's a bunch of hogwash.
The left has got worse solutions.
And Bernie Sanders.
Well, you know, the other thing, this whole thing about Medicaid for all deal, before we start making, you know, expanding government programs, how about we drive down the cost first? How about making them cost effective? Because some government programs can actually bid and get better deals on their drugs, and other government programs pay the, you know, ridiculous rate, you know. So why not have more competition? Why not do something that addresses costs? That was the biggest failure of Obamacare, that and the fact that they lied all the way through about it, about what it would do, you know, and then they bragged about lying to us, because that's the Democrats. They don't care about the people. Anytime that someone's going to force you to do something, well, maybe it's not such a good thing. Yeah.
Hey, did you see? And I think we have the video on it, where your favorite, if she could run, it was Nancy Pelosi. What she just did. We've got the video. Chris is pulling.
I don't know. That's still with her and Schumer is a classic. That's like the old farm picture with the pitchfork. Her and Schumer. That was hilarious.
Let me see here. We're scrolling through the thing.
There's plenty of rhinos. CNN likes to run these discredited Republicans that they got run once they got found out or exposed. There's a guy named John Jolly in middle of Florida, and I think he was a representative once or twice. CNN likes to trot him out because he's basically a rhino.
Yeah. We're trying to pull up a couple of things here. One of them's really funny.
Yeah, oi, hey,
I don't know.
Elizabeth Warren. She's an Indian.
Okay. Yeah, ask her where the one with
Elizabeth Warren.
Village People.
Hey, she'll have a beer with you too. Elizabeth Warren will drink a beer and smoke the peace pipe with Kamala Harris.
Well,
that's a party.
Well, Kamala Harris is now. Oh, there it was right there. Kamala.
She's a pot smoker.
Yeah, you got to see this. I saw this today. This cracks me up. We should have it up here in a second, but yeah, that's the one right there. You got to see this. I want to get your opinion on this because Bernie Sanders announced he's running for governor. What do you think of that?
Oh, I like that. The Village People look. I like it. You know, that truly reflects the Democratic Party, the Village Idiots. I like it. You know, the fun thing about Sanders declaring, I like it because he's a real socialist. He's the most honest of them because he at least admits he's a socialist. You got Kamala trying to say, or Kamala Harris, whatever her name is,
Kamala,
trying to say that she's not a socialist when all of her votes have supported socialism. And then they ask her to define it, and she's like, well, people aren't equal, which is what socialism wants to do, make everybody equal. Yes. Poor, but equal.
Susan joined in, and Glennis, I went to high school with Glennis, but Jolie wrote in and said, take it away from the illegals, and we have a lot more available. And then she says, talking about Medicaid, Medicaid's, pretty much the whole thing is in the tank. It was lies from the beginning. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Your premiums are going to remain lower, which they went up some 4,000%. The whole thing is a freaking mess. But Ryan and them, they could have done something when they were there. They chose not to.
Ryan's an idiot. He's no longer there.
Yep. So now the question is, what are they going to do now?
Hell, he wouldn't have gone anyway. He single-handedly torpedoed our majority.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that.
We need guys like Jordan. We need these strong Gates, and we need strong people with beliefs similar to what we've got in the White House. We've got a great free market guy in the White House who cares about America, and he knows that I'm not a pro-tariff guy, but hey, if you need to tariff China for dumping and all the bad stuff they do, well, then let's do it, and let's get a level playing field. The problem with Obama and the Democrats, they were deliberately making us poor and other countries richer on our dime. That's not what they were elected to do. Obama never even upheld his presidential oath. He had an oath to protect this country, to do a lot better job than he did. And he's out there encouraging illegals to break the law and vote. I lost a lot of respect for him. And then I didn't think I could lose any more respect, and come to find out that this whole anti-Trump plot was hatched under the Obama administration. It goes back to Obama. It goes up to Obama. He was aware of this stuff, and him and Comey and McCabe and all that corruption. They were all assets for the Democratic Party, and that's what they are. And unfortunately, that's not what the FBI is supposed to be about. They're not supposed to be party-centered. They're supposed to be, protecting the public, all of us. We need law enforcement we can count on. We need, objective law enforcement. The law should be upheld equally. How Hillary gets away with taking a hammer and destroying evidence and deleting stuff, and what she did is right out of a movie. I mean, this is ridiculous, and she gets a free pass. Her husband goes over there and speaks to Russia and gets $500,000, and then they sign off on some other Russian deal or Uranium One or whatever. All this pay to play makes me want to throw up. And yet the media deliberately covers it up, obfuscates, And then this whole thing about Trump is as a diversion to take all of our American eyes off of the corruption that was the Obama administration.
Yeah, Kerry just joined in, Kerry Anderson. Let me ask you what you think about old Bernie Sanders announcing today that he's going to run and that Trump is an embarrassment to the nation.
He's entitled to his opinion. Fortunately, he's wrong on just about every major issue. When it comes to the economy, he's a socialist. That means he's an idiot, okay? He's a village idiot. He don't know Shiola.
Yeah, no doubt. And the one we're going to bring up one of Nancy Pelosi here in a second. But what do you think about like Kamala Harris? Now she's backing down from everything. She just went out and said today that I'm not a socialist.
That's what she said. We already touched on that. That's what she says, but that's not what her record reflects. I mean, this is a lady that never saw a socialist program or a big government program that she didn't like or support. Okay. She's a phony. She's a fraud. She's not presidential material. None of these senators running for president have a prayer of winning. Period. None. They all have votes. They all have records, and they represent the opposite of the direction the country wants to go. They represent the fringe of the Democratic Party. Every last one of them.
Yeah. Did you see this? We're going to put this up in a second. I want to see if you saw this. Talk about an embarrassment to the Democratic Party. Did you see when Nancy Pelosi stood up the other day and she had a brain freeze and on Valentine's Day? She said, "Happy Thanksgiving to everybody." Did you see that?
Well, all I can say is that, we knew sooner or later that dementia was going to catch up to Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, yeah. Is she still going to be in your top 10 for the 80 or 90-year-old beauty pageant?
Early stage dementia, but it's okay. She's still got a few good years left.
Is she gonna? Is she still going to be in your top 10 for
over 80?
Yeah,
the over 80 Miss America beauty pageant. She is still in the top 10.
What was it? Did you see the Muslim thing where they were banning? And I think we have a picture of it somewhere. They were banning. Right here it is. Right here. I couldn't believe this when I saw it. I mean, I can, but this is ridiculous. Chris is getting ready to put it up right now. Chris is good at this stuff. Thanks, Chris. Chris is the one that keeps the show running in the background. But did you happen to see this?
Really? Muslims say no to Happy Valentine's Day. I don't get it. What's the point?
Because it's St. Valentine's. I guess you're not supposed to have a sweetheart anymore. You know, that's like people trying to get.
You know what kills me is you get like this little Omar. Some idiot in Minnesota voted for her. They got so many Muslims over there. They even elected one to Congress. So this lady hates Israel. She hates America, and yet they voted her in. And Omar is, she's a little, I'll say, a bit of embarrassment to the Democratic Party. And they put this anti-American person on. This is the Democratic Party. They put her on the House Intelligence Committee. They want her dealing with foreign secrets so she can leak them to her friends over there. You know, like our idiot. Who's that idiot from South Florida? Watcherman Schultz. Yeah, the one that had the Pakistani guy that, that Muslim that stole like almost all the Democratic Party secrets and it's ferreted them off to Pakistan.
Yeah.
He worked for all the Democrats, and it's amazing all the corruption they've got.
Well, Louis Farrakhan
might have even had Hillary's server. Who knows?
Louis Farrakhan, she's going to be speaking at a thing, and Farrakhan said that everybody should support her. But did you see in the news where that girl went over to be in the Taliban with her baby, and now she wants to come back to the United States?
Brainwashed. She appears to be brainwashed. She lost 2 of her children are dead because of the horrible conditions they have, and she's apparently pregnant with another one's, and she's lost. It's terrible. It's a terrible tragedy. And this Omar lady, she can speak on the floor of the House. She goes back to where she's from. They'd behead her. They'd behead her. They'd stone her. I mean, they don't have any respect for women in 90% of the Islamic countries. It's amazing to me.
Now, do you think
they come over here and still want to support radical Islamic philosophy, which is frankly, as Thomas Jefferson found out, diametrically opposed to America. Period.
Now, do you think they should let this girl come back? Do you think they should let this girl come back to the United States?
I don't know. I don't know. Was she? I don't know. She's a traitor to the country. I think she should probably be jailed. Well, I don't have any sympathy for her.
With some of these news stations,
because she was like 15 when she went. But how can that happen?
Yeah, how can she get a passport to go over there by herself and just live with that?
Somebody helped her along the way. But again, and people say, well, gee, Americans are so dumb. And here's something else. The Democrats, we want the young people to support us. The Democrats ruined education. They've dumbed it down. They know that the young people in this country are exceptionally dumb. Hell, they're so dumb, you can go to a prestige university and tell them you're an Indian when you're as white as you or me. And they'll believe you because they want to believe you, because that's how dumb they are. It's just amazing. We got a lot of dumbness going on here in this world.
It's the only place it's the only person that I've ever met that can go and get her Texas bar and put on there without any proof, or go to Harvard and say, I'm an American Indian, but your birth certificate says honky on it,
It is what it is. Only in America.
So that is, her new name should be Squaw White Ass.
I don't know. But anyway, look, they got problems all the way through. And, every one of them disappoints me. And every one of them have a lot of bad votes. None of them are particularly good. And, they're all going to run to the center at some point in time, just like Obama did. Hell, I thought he was going to be a great president. And he moved to the left so quick, so hard, so fast. It was terrible. Well, and then the whole race thing he stirs up. I mean, we were well past a lot of these racial problems and issues that have now surfaced because they've been promoted by the Democratic Party. I mean, mainstream media. I mean, the Democratic Party. They are one and the same. And the Democrats have nothing if they don't have racism. They have to have racism. They stir it up. They are the creators of racism. They are the most racist. There's nothing more racist than a white liberal, and you see them all the time on MSNBC.
Well,
Morning Joe. Yeah, good job, Morning Joe. I think you're a racist, Morning Joe.
Morning Joe is a white-ass honky.
Your wife is a racist for sure, Morning Joe.
Morning Joe is a white-ass honky that makes white people embarrassed to be white. And here, the thing that pissed me off the most about Obama wasn't as much his policies, because I think he really did try to do what he thought as a person was right. But the thing that pissed me off about him, here's a guy that's half black and half white. Got a white mama, black daddy. But he never went to the white side. He never said, look, I'm a person that can bring both sides together and make this nation come together. And he was a perfect person to do it. I mean, he's half black, half white. He could have brought both sides together, but he didn't. He only ever associated with the black side and the black race. He never once said, hey, I'm white, or I'm half white. He always says, I'm a black man. And that crap pisses me off.
Well, it is what it is. But the fact is I love all people. Red and white, yellow. We're all.
And then you got Eric Holder. You got Eric Holder, who sells guns to the drug cartel and then gets away with it and is standing right up there behind Bill Clinton and them on the stage a couple of weeks ago. And now he's standing behind Joe Biden.
It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. But again, that's the Democratic Party. They are anti-American. They want the hardcore anti-American people to be one of their special interest groups, you know, because that's all they have. They have no good ideas. I mean, what do they stand for? Late-term abortion, that's what they stand for. Brilliant. Leading from behind, brilliant. Weak foreign policy, appeasing Europe, being a socialist country, that's what they stand for. And nobody wants to be a part of that, you know?
Yeah.
I want good health care. Let's work on it.
Hello, Stephen.
Let's do something about the cost. You know, why is it that it's the only thing you don't know how much it's going to cost? When you go in, hell, sometimes you don't know what it costs till you get the bill 6 months later, 3 months later. You know, you ought to be able to shop it.
Yep. Yeah, that whole thing with these killing babies right before they come out and injecting them with saline. I just saw a picture today, and I've got it, but I'm not going to put it up. They injected this baby with saline up in New York. Now, this is in the last week. And before the baby came out, they stuck a needle up in there and injected it with saline so it would die. The day that it was ready to come out, and the baby's skin is completely, I mean, it's splotched with black. And it's a little white baby.
Terrible. But they celebrate that kind of stuff in New York. You know, Cuomo's ruined the state of New York. De Blasio's ruining the city of New York City. It's a great city. It used to be a great state. More people are leaving. They're leaving as soon as they can. And Amazon's leaving. What more do you need? Yeah, it's not good enough for Amazon, and they got all the money in the world, and yet the taxes were too high.
Well, I saw a thing today that makes perfect sense, and I don't know if we have it up there. I doubt we do, but it says, here's the solution for getting the wall done. And it said, if we sell California to Mexico for $56 billion, I think that's what it was, then we can afford to build the wall and get rid of California at the same time. You know, I think that would work.
Yeah, that's a non-starter for me. But I would like to see, for instance, I do think that Texas ought to be able to build part of that wall if they want. They got a border with Mexico. Go ahead.
Well, now they're
Texas. Go ahead.
Now you got all these states suing, and they're trying to pass legislation. They might have already passed it. Hell, who knows what they do behind closed doors? That each county can decide if they want a wall up or not.
Well, I heard there was some misinformation about that, you know, and they wanted a lot of that in, and I think it got cut at the end of the day. But we'll find out how that plays out when somebody actually reads the bill.
Yeah, let me ask you.
I don't like pass legislation when nobody really reads it, and I'm sure they had some booby traps in it because that's the nature of the Democratic Party. They're dishonest in everything they do.
Yeah, let me ask you what you think about Nancy Pelosi getting up last week or this past week and saying, you know, if Trump declares a national emergency, that the next Democratic president that comes in, that they will push the agenda for national emergency against guns.
Well, whatever. Here's the point. Obama did 13 national emergencies. The media applauded him. Half of them were crap. I mean crap. 13 of them. Look them up. Maybe you can print them out next week. The fact is, Trump's done one, and he needed to do it. And you know what I like about it is he had to shut down the government for 35 days, and it became clear that the Democrats were on a suicide mission. They were never going to support Trump's wall. They'll never support security. They'll never support voter ID. These people are a threat to the public. They're a threat to the institutions that we hold dear. The Democratic Party has lost their minds. Voter ID is not voter suppression, and everything that we talked about is the right way to go. I mean, the bottom line is we need less government, but good government.
Well, except for a couple on the Democratic side that are still in diapers that are sitting up there in Congress, not one of them will say that they think the wall should be taken down in any spots. They won't say that, but they'll say a wall doesn't work. But yet El Paso is proof that it does work. But not one of them will say, well, let's tear down the existing wall. And they think their idea of controlling the border, it was with a drone. You know, that's like cops in Europe. They don't carry any guns, so when they see a criminal, they yell, stop, or I'll yell, stop again.
I know it's
idiots.
even more devious than that. They know that the people get into the state. See, this is a new thing. You get into America, you ask for asylum. They didn't used to do that. They used to say they just want to come here and they send them back. No, everybody asks for asylum now. Well, the drones are great. Oh, we got 200 people that just crossed the border. Great. Thanks a lot. Drones, great. Drones aren't going to stop anybody from crossing the border, but a border will. See, what a border wall does is it funnels people in to the legal points of entry. We want people to come in. We just don't want them to come in illegally. And what people are missing most of all is the health crisis. I'm telling you, they're bringing in TB. There's typhoid is now in LA, and that was extinct from Western civilization for years and years and years. These illegal Mexicans and third world people coming up, they're not being examined by medical personnel. They're bringing in horrible, horrible diseases. And we don't even know the full effects yet. But why do we have typhoid in LA now? You tell me.
Well, not only that, but the bed bug population, measles, 100-something cases of measles now in South California and in Texas. The other thing is that, you know, they're never going to stop it unless there's something to hold it back. It's never going to stop at 100%.
Yeah, you got to control it. I mean, we want legal immigrants, you know, we want.
Oh, yeah, I'm for it. I'm for legal immigration, not illegal.
Workers.
I talked to a buddy of mine.
I certainly don't want a bunch of, and Obama did everything he could to bring in radical Muslims over here. I don't know what he was thinking. And then, of course, there'd be a radical Muslim attack. They say that's a workplace violence incident. That has nothing to do with radical Islam. Right. Remember that guy that in the military, a radical Muslim, he goes and kills a bunch of people in California, and they try to cover it all up like they covered everything up?
Yeah. Hello, Sean.
That's not a terrorist attack.
Yeah. Well, I talked to a buddy of mine down in Texas this past weekend. It was on Saturday. I talked to him, and he was telling me that he goes, look, brother, he said, you guys are missing what's actually going on down here. He said, it's not just the disease, and it's not the drugs that are coming over or the human trafficking. He said,
what are we missing?
He said, and he was telling me that he's been on and has reports of over 200 different soldiers or people that are in the military from Russia, from Cuba, and from all over the place. Now, what the hell are they doing coming in?
They're either defecting or they're going to try to up to no good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. And when he asked them what they were doing, they told him to shut up or he'd be dead. They kept asking him his name. That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't even think about that. I promised him I wouldn't tell his name over the air.
Well, I understand that, but you know what? That needs to go to they need to be looking at those people.
He said they already know about it. He said,
well, they need to start. Then do your job and get rid of them. I mean, whatever. Again, it's terrible that we're doing this.
He said they're mixed in with the caravan.
Right. We have the dumbest immigration policies in the whole free world. You know, they're laughing at us. Even Germany has stricter immigration laws than we do. That Obama basically screwed up for them because now they got 1 million more Muslims that they didn't have before, thanks to Obama. You know, it is disconcerting to say the least. We need more conservative. You know, the conservative way is frankly a smaller government. Government is to protect the country. It is to protect our citizens and provide a safety net for those less fortunate and have a military. But it's not to do everything for all people. And then we're not a cradle to grave where you have your hand out and the government is here for your mind control to tell you how to think, live, and act and what you should study and control every area of your mind. But guess what? That's what socialism ultimately is. And socialism is alive and well in the Democratic Party.
Now, you know what? I'm going to get on something here for a second that really pisses me off and gets an itch in the crack of my ass is that you have people that come here that you see on TV all the time, well, when they show it anymore, they're burning the American flag, okay? they're sitting there trashing it and stomping America and saying, "Oh, this needs to change." I know some people that are Muslims, some people that are Mexican, Hispanic. My partner Tammy is Hispanic. I mean, for God's sake. But you guys, and I have nothing against that. What I have a problem with is assholes that come to this country and then they want to change it. Why did they leave their country? Because it was so great and come and fly your freaking flag here? I'll piss on them.
You make a great point, and I want to extrapolate that even further. What gets my goat is we get these people from New York or New Jersey, and many of them are fine people, but leave your big government screwed up New York Democrat politics with you. That's why you left New York. We don't want you to bring that same mindset down here, so we turn into a high tax, low productivity, big liberal state that can't do anything right, such as New York or Illinois or even California. How'd you like to be a sucker that lives in California? They spent already $1 billion or $2 billion on that train they canceled, and all that did was make people money, make a few contractors a lot of money.
That's the governor says, "Oh, I'm not giving that back to the people or and that was all federal funding. I'm not giving that back to the people of the United States. We just pissed away $1 billion. So what? But the people that come over here and try to change this,
don't get it over there.
The people that come over here and try to change this country into the crap holes they were living in, and then get over here and want to fly their damn flag over here above the American flag, they can kiss my white ass. They need to get booted the hell out."
Here's the point. You shouldn't vote unless you're an American citizen. Okay, period. Now, you shouldn't be a citizen until you've earned the privilege. You don't just get on a boat, come to the States. Now you can vote. Here's your ID. Here's your driver's license. And by the way, you don't even need to take a physical. Give me a break. The Democrats are dumber than a box of rocks.
Oh, well, they're more concerned about people that have not been here their whole lives, busting their asses for Medicaid. You know how many people I've talked to that can't? And there's a guy that I talked to that's one of Miss Debbie's friends. The guy's worked here all of his life. He's approaching 60, has cancer, and can't get one stinking benefit. Cannot draw off his Social Security. Already been before them 3 or 4 times. Cannot get his medications. We got veterans like that.
There's a problem in our health care, and it's for those people between 60 and 65 that retire young before they're eligible for Medicare. And I don't know what Florida does. I've never been on Medicaid. I don't know. But we do have to have a safety net for those that need it. But we don't have a safety net so generous that people won't work so they can hang out in the safety net.
Well, you can't blame a lot of these people, though, Greg, because in New York New York, California, if you're on welfare, you make the equivalent of about $27 an hour. Some places, I believe Florida is $19 an hour.
I know. Well, that's called the Democratic politics because they never understood economic incentives. If you have any, they don't understand the economy to begin with. They're economic illiterates. Take OAC, for example. Take just about any Democratic senator, for example. They're economic illiterates. If you economically incentivize a certain behavior, that's the behavior you're going to get. So if you want to make an incentive for people not to work, give them $27 an hour to be on welfare.
I got a couple comments I need to read here, Greg. And then I'll let you comment on them because we're getting down to the last 12 minutes of the show.
All right.
It says, Don says hello from Washington State. Doug says good evening.
We love the people of the great state of Washington.
Yeah, it's just a little too damp there for me. Okay, it said this was...
That's a pretty good bud up there. That's what I've heard.
This was just sent in to us by Jimmy. He said, I'm in the Midwest. Racism is real here. I'm redneck as they come, and I've never been more ridiculed by the black people here than I have my entire life. Shit, my best friend in high school back home was black. And then it says, Jimmy says, not just that, but idiot parents don't want to get their kids vaccinated or vaccines. And
that's terrible. Vaccinate your kids. That's the problem in Washington State. They got a problem with measles over there. And, you know, people bought into this thing about, oh, vaccines are terrible. No, they're not terrible. That's how we got rid of polio.
I just want to tell the people that are typing in stuff, if we don't get to your comment, that's because this thing looks like a ticker tape running here. And we're trying to get to as many comments as we can, although we're not going to be.
Let's do a few more.
I mean, the show has gotten that big that we can't get everybody on it. So I'm sorry. We do read your comments. We just can't get to all of them. And not that we're ignoring in shout outs and stuff, because we have it going on Fort Gates, IITW radio website, on YouTube, on 2 Facebook pages, on the Putman Way. I mean, all over the place. So if we can't get to your comments, I'm sorry for that. We try.
Hey, how about a shout out to our governor? Doing a good job. I got to give him credit. I'm pretty impressed with him.
Yeah,
I was a little bit skeptical, only because of a couple of votes he had when he was in Congress, but I knew he was a better choice than Gil Obama, and he's going to be a great governor for the next 8 years.
One said, I was a truck driver and served this country as a guard 13 years and going. If I have to pass a urine test to keep my job, the welfare and food stamp recipients should have to do the same also. He's absolutely right.
I agree. So the Democrats, if they were smart, they would make it where nobody had to take any tests, because eventually when they legalize marijuana, I don't know what they're going to. CBT is already legal. So basically you could test positive for that and not be in any problem, because you're not breaking the law.
Now, how does that work in Florida now? Because I see these CBT things all over the place, even in local grocery stores.
That's a legal substance. But the medical marijuana, if you have a card, yeah, you can smoke it. Of course, it'd be THC in your system. The biggest problem with the medical marijuana card is you lose your right to get a carry conceal permit. But a lot of people have medical marijuana cards, need it. I encourage people to get it. If you could stay off opioids, and that's the whole key. I mean, it's an opioid. Matter of fact, where marijuana is legal or medical use is legal, the opioid problem's significantly less. So that should tell you something there.
Jolie says, I agree. I get food stamps and agree we should have to pass a test. Now, let me ask you something on this. And I agree with you 100%, Jolie, and I'm sure Greg does too. On this thing with the medical marijuana, and people lose their, and that's something we haven't talked about. We're gonna have a show probably next week or the week after on it. You lose your concealed weapons permit, correct?
From what I understand, that can be a real problem for your concealed weapons permit.
Now, how's that when you can drink all the alcohol you want?
It's just probably so new that the cases haven't worked their way up the system yet. You know, somebody's going to have to challenge something, you know, like anything else. But I will say this, the trend is your friend. And I think the trend is all positive. We've got a Secretary of Agriculture that understands the issue as well as anybody. And I was happy to see her get elected, even though she is a Democrat. She appears to be a more libertarian Democrat. She appears to be an older style Southern Democrat as opposed to a Elizabeth Warren style liberal lunatic Democrat.
Jimmy said to tell you that he's a Crawford and he'll smile if we say that on the air.
He's a what?
Crawford.
Crawford.
But anyways, we're winding down here. I'm going to give you the last 2 minutes.
Well, you mentioned something earlier that I forgot what it was, but it was important. But we'll have to pick it up next week. Just remember this. The Democrats are bad. The Republicans are for less government. They're less bad. I'm not saying they're great or they're good. They're just less bad than the Democrats. Beware of the white liberal.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. You know.
Have a great day.
All right, and that's Greg Williams. Thanks, Greg. We'll see you back on here next Tuesday night.
All right.
Show went by quick. All right, buddy. I'll give you a call. I've still got those headphones for you.
I
We got
appreciate
to
it.
meet up for lunch. All right, buddy. Thanks, man. That was Greg Williams, PA attorney at law, and he's up in Jacksonville, 3355 East Monroe Street in Jacksonville, Florida. 904-358-8180, I believe. Anyways, if you guys and gals get in trouble, Greg is the guy you want in your corner. Now, he will come to Putnam County. He does Clay County and all over the map in North Florida here. But I've known Greg for quite a few years, not only a personal friend, but he's also my attorney, the IITW and the Putnam Way attorney, and he does a great job. If you need somebody to fight for you in the corner, he's the guy you want representing you. And he will tell him you listen to IITW radio or read the Putnam Way, and he will work it out with you and give you, like he'll set up a payment schedule with you. At the end of the day, guys and gals, the whole thing is not about being a Democrat or Republican or which side you're voting on. It's about doing what's right and voting for the people that have your best interest at heart. Now, as you heard me say on the show earlier, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I am an independent, and I go by what the facts are. And the facts are there's a lot of people on the left right now that want to see socialism. It just doesn't work. It hasn't worked in Venezuela. It hasn't worked in Cuba. It has never worked. When you take people's money, it doesn't allow those people that are rich to reinvest. Yes, a lot of them are crooked, but the same with our politicians. Next week, we're going to get into a bunch of county stuff. Will y'all please post Greg's contact info? It is in the comments, Jolie. And you can go back on there and see it at the end of the radio show. It is 4 minutes from the end of the show. So if you want to go back there and see it, it also scrolls during the show. And I believe if you go to IITWradio.com or go on Facebook, you can see his ad thing there. Greg is a great guy. He does everything except for murder cases, and he won't touch those. I don't blame him. It's too much involved in it, but you're very welcome. Anyways, at the end of the day, the thing boils down to this. We are all one race, and that's the American race, the human race. And where American citizens need to stand behind each other. You should be proud of your heritage. Indians, yes, my relatives got treated like crap, dragged all the way across the Trail of Tears, got raped, mutilated. Chinese people were held in concentration camps back in World War II. Or Japanese, I'm sorry. Anybody that was actually Oriental was thrown into concentration camps. Black people, be proud of your history. Yes, your families were slaves, but this is what built this country. The slaves were part of building this country. Yes, they were treated like crap, but so were a bunch of white people. So were Chinese and Hispanics and everybody else. But that is what built this country. I wasn't there. I didn't have any slaves. Don't be blaming me. I didn't bring anybody over on a boat. I'm not the one running the government. Don't blame other people. Go to the source of what it is. And that's what we have, a buttload of crooked politicians that need to have their asses spanked and their snotty nose wiped and then be corrected. We have a voice. We have a constitution. Stand up for your rights. Make sure you vote. Now, if you're a convicted felon, I've got it around here someplace. If not, I'll just hold up a blank piece of paper. There you go. If you're a convicted felon and you have already served your time or you're off probation, unless you've committed murder or child molestation, you can get your voting rights back. You can actually vote now, which I think is a great thing. Exercise that right and go and vote. At the end of the day, support our military, our veterans. There's too many of our veterans right now that are homeless. When you got people coming across the border that get set up with food and housing and color TV and everything else, it's just wrong that our veterans and a bunch of our children, and people don't get in that, we'll get into the numbers one night, but there are thousands of American kids, black, white, Hispanic, across the board, Asian, that are starving tonight, that don't have any meals. There are veterans that are starving. Our volunteer firefighters need help. Go up and thank a volunteer firefighter, but we have to take care of our own in our country, in our houses, in our backyards, our neighbors, before we worry about anybody else. And I know that sounds cold-hearted, but I don't care. It's the honest truth. And that's what I'm here for. I'm not going to snow anybody or blow smoke up your ass. That's the way it should be. And respect your fellow citizens. Respect your law enforcement. Now, I got to give my shout-outs real quick. Tammy, I know you're out there listening. Tammy's my partner on the Putman Way. She's getting really aggravated with a lot of the racist crap that people are spewing out right now, and they don't like what we put up. If you don't like what's put up, go read another news source. We're not going to take people's comments down because that is part of the First Amendment and freedom of speech. Unless it's a hate thing or a racist thing going toward people, we are going to leave it up. Get used to it. Quit getting your feelings hurt. Pull your big boy pants up or your big girl pants up and just deal with it. That's what makes it great, this country, when we can get together and we can talk about stuff or argue about stuff. At the end of the day, we come out with a solution. So I got to give my shout-outs to Mr. Steve, to Tammy, to Annette and Audrey, Mama B, and we also have Dr. Newton. Dr. Newton is, he was going to be on here tonight. This guy is a terrific guy. He works for, he come out of retirement to help cancer kids and everything else. He has a band. There's a picture of him. He's a studly guy too. He's going to be on our show. You guys can go to his page and hit his like button for what he does. Stone Lotus is the name of his group, and they are going to be live February 23rd at 8 p.m. in Mount Dora. You people that live in the Mount Dora area, go check this guy out. His band rocks. His lead guitar or lead singer, she can hit notes. They sing some Journey stuff. She can hit Steve Perry's notes like nobody's business. Make sure you check them out. Go to their page, check out their page, and hit the like button for them. To everybody that makes this show possible, Chris, thank you very much. To my hobbit over there in the corner, where's your thumb? There it is. And to Marie and everybody else that makes this possible, thank you very much. Also, Calvin O opening up the show with One Nation Under God. What a great song. We have the Blue Crab Festival that is going to be coming up, and we're going to try to get a young lady in here named Erin that's going to talk about it, or a.k.a. Batgirl. She's going to be talking about it. Blue Crab Festival is on, and we've got the young entrepreneurs that are taking over on that. Let's see. What else do we have? That's March 23rd. Stone Lotus. February 23rd, they're performing. Whoop, same thing. Wait, one says March and one says February 23rd. Okay, that's over Mount Dora as well. All right, guys and gals, we got to get out of here. I think we got everything covered. We love you. We'll see you back here tomorrow night, 7 to 7:30. Now, Thursday, we're going to be doing a live show. Watch and check this out. There's some crap going on in Putnam County, and I'm going to expose some of this stuff. Watch on Thursday night on the Putnam Way. You can, and also on IITW Radio. Now, if you guys and gals want to go back and check us out, you can check us out on YouTube at IITW Radio. Hit the like button on there. What's that thing called? Notification banger bell or whatever it is.
Right next to subscribe, there's a bell, and it gives you notification when a new video is uploaded.
Yeah, and hit the subscribe button so you get the latest notifications. Go on there and tell Tammy thank you for all she does. She doesn't get paid on the Putnam Way to do anything, and she keeps you guys and gals updated on everything that goes on. And go light on her and tell her thank you and quit bitching at her. Good God almighty, that pisses me off. All right, I think we're out of here. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Hit the like button.
Yeah, hit the like button on Facebook, too. That would help. All right, guys and gals, we love you. We're out. Listen to, this is Austin Neal, Brothers in Arms. This is about a song about a guitar that travels all over, and his brother and his family. It goes out to all of the soldiers, our veterans, our local firefighters, our police officers. Thank you for your service. We love you guys. Good night.
It's the one I learned to play on. Believe me or not, it's been all around the world. It's been back and forth to Georgia, Carolina a couple times. But there's that one trip that takes me back in time. On a plane ride to a foreign land, a journey had begun. To a different time with my old man, watching the more dogs run, telling stories writing letters home, to picking that old six-string just to keep from feeling alone. Seen some tough times, some crying eyes, but never quit on me. Been through hell and back, even brought us back to where our hearts need to be. On a plane ride to a foreign land, a journey had begun. A different time with my old man, watching the old dogs run, telling stories and comparing battle scars. And there are always among us brothers in arms. On a plane ride to a foreign land, a journey had begun. To a different time with my old man, watching them old dogs run, telling stories and comparing battle scars. Well, they're always among us, brothers in